Okay, so a deep bow to everyone who's here. Thank you so much for making the time to practice meditation, to cultivate, um, to plant the seeds for wellness and peace in our lives, and also just to show up in a very immediate and a very direct way to our lives, right in the here and in the now. Um, we may have been practicing meditation for a number of years, or we may, be beginners to the meditation path. But regardless, it takes a certain degree of heart, and it takes a certain degree of blessings to actually be in a space like this and to participate in something like this. It's not easy. Not everyone can do it, even if they would like to. We're blessed to be here, and our capacity to stay here, even for just a few moments, it is a great sign that our lives are in the right direction and that we are doing the right thing. My approach to meditation is non-dualistic, in that I am not giving much importance to I meditating, but rather mindfulness itself, right? The completeness of mindfulness, just mindful, just aware. And this way of meditation is really helpful because it immediately gets us out of this kind of trap where we are, meditation is all about letting go. I think that's a common understanding of meditation. And if we want to have kind of a successful experience of meditating, we should approach it in a way where we are not trying to attain something. We're not trying to change something about ourselves, but touching into and connecting with the just thisness, that we don't need to go anywhere, we don't need to do anything, we don't need to fix ourselves, just this, just aware, just here. And it may seem like that's not as rewarding or not as interesting as some kind of meditation path where, we're going to first stage Arhat, second stage Arhat, becoming a bodhisattva, becoming a serious meditator, becoming a Buddhist. But actually, if we can drop all these labels, if we can drop all these notions, these ideas of becoming, then we can really enter into a place of meditation that is not craving, not avoiding anything, not bypassing anything, but just arriving. And in the same way that, maybe we take a vacation or we go on a trip, and it may be a wonderful vacation in a wonderful place. We might have had the best time of our lives traveling and exploring and having all these experiences, but there's something very precious about coming home, arriving, and being at the place of everything's taken care of, everything's prepared, everything is the way that it's supposed to be, automatically and immediately. So in our guided meditation today, I would like to try and encourage and share that spirit of just thisness. And hopefully we can all get nothing from it. Hopefully we can be free from getting anything. So we'll start today. I'll do a little bit of an offering paying homage to the Buddha, and then we'll go into the guided meditation. So you're welcome to join me in this chanting or just listen. We'll start with this. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham Sangam Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. So the first step for our meditation practice is we can adjust our position a little bit. So we give some extra attention to the position that our body is in. And we make sure that the body is in a comfortable and a stable position, and also to some degree upright. So it's very nice if our chest can be open, if our stomach can be open, our shoulders back. Simple and stable, and most importantly, comfortable, stable, comfortable position. And as we find that simple, comfortable, and stable position, in a similar way that we would find a comfortable position to go to sleep in, the body at this point is not doing anything. We're not using the body for any particular purpose. That comfortable, simple, stable position is for us to set the body down. Set down all the activities, all the work, all the use of the body. And at that time when the body is no longer being used for anything, we may naturally become aware of the experience of the body. Now the body has a lot of experiences going on. So there is, if your eyes are open, there is a seeing. The ears cannot be closed, so there will be hearing. The body is also always breathing, and we may feel pressure points or particular sensations in the body. So not getting stuck or focusing too much on any one particular sense of the body, whether it's hearing or seeing or feeling. But going into that place of noticing without using anything that you notice and without doing anything with what you notice. And as we are noticing without doing anything with what we notice or using anything that we notice, we may allow the objects of our noticing to relax. The body becoming more settled and relaxed, but also our hearing, our seeing, our breathing without effort, without doing anything with it, becoming more relaxed. And that relaxation may not be as stimulating as eating candy or eating, but actually it is very enjoyable. And as we notice any sense of anxiety or tension, any pain come up, we can relax our reactivity to that feeling, that we're not doing anything with anxiety. We're not using our thinking for any purpose, not using our eyes or our ears or the seeing or the hearing. And one of the most important points that we are relaxing in this practice is that we are relaxing this habit of mind to seek and find. Whatever arises is, whatever comes into this experience is already found. And whenever that sense of looking for something or some experience comes up, arises, it has already found itself. And so that sense of relaxation, especially in the body, can become more alive. And we may have a certain drawn into-ness related to a particular sense, such as our hearing or our seeing or our feeling. And that's okay. Allow that to happen. And in that happening and in that being drawn into this sensing or this experiencing, allow the body to relax even more. And we relax in such a way where the whole world could fall apart. The whole body can fall apart, and we are uninvolved, unconcerned. And the important quality of this state, of this way of being, is an aliveness. So the aliveness of relaxation. And in some moments we may need to move or to lay down even, but try to allow the body to be as still as it can be, as released as it can be. And if a state comes about that is conflicted or involved, state of attachment, accept that it is not a problem. It is not something to fix or to solve. It is just a happening in the broadness of everything. From our lives of dealing with trauma, there is a seed in us of disaster waiting to strike. So allow your relaxation and the openness to everything be that disaster, free of itself. And when we embody the way, if thinking or some entanglement takes our way, there are certain consistent aspects of the body. such as the breathing. So rather than being entrapped by thinking, and rather than trying to get rid of thinking, allow those consistent aspects of the body, whatever they may be, such as hearing or seeing or breathing, to be a detachment point or a freeing point or a boundless point. And although it may be quite subtle and different from our usual way of feeling pleasure, there's actually a very wonderful feeling in this, not using anything for anything, to do anything. And this enjoyment is our nourishment to go more and more completely into the way of just this, so that this, just this, becomes softer, rounder, warmer, deeper. So much so that it reaches all aspects, all parts, all corners of the body-mind experience. Even in difficulty or frustration, if it arises, this good condition for relaxing our opinions about difficulty, our opinions about just this. That whatever is being experienced is always and is in this vast field of just this. so that the opinions and reflections and perspectives can also be relaxed. Relaxing in such a way where we enter into a field of preciousness, entering into a field of treasure, where this mundane body and mind, this burdensome collection of memories and experiences and sensations, becomes a field of freely offered emeralds, sapphires, rubies, gems. Not to try and imagine or place ourselves in such a state, but naturally feeling more and more this preciousness, this abundance that is not in doing anything with anything. As we notice the reactive quality of our mind to thoughts or feelings or sensations, thoroughly experience the freedom from reactivity, the freedom from clinging, grasping, chasing, being involved with. So it is not that we reject or control any aspect at all of the body, the mind, or the environment, but rather we open ourselves to be more deeply experiencing the freedom in reactivity. As much as we are able to notice the mind that reacts and chooses and takes a position, so much more so it is free from doing anything. And so when this mind of I am meditating, or I am dealing with this feeling in my leg, or oh, this thought, my thought again, enter into experiencing only. It's just this. That's all that it is. It is just this. we may notice that in the midst of these mental or physical experiences, where do they come from and where do they go? This and that thought, this and that feeling in the body. Not in any way a trance, but a vivid curiosity in aliveness, in abundance of freedom. And this mind that can so often be the bearer of our suffering, the bearer of worry, fear, judgment, wrong views, opinions. This mind takes on the role of blessing, forgiving, forgiving pain, forgiving past and future. So at this time, we can take a deep breath. Maybe even 2 or 3 deep breaths, and maybe helpful to breathe in through the mouth. Feel the oxygen coming into the body. Can begin to open our eyes. Slowly start to move our legs or whatever position we may have been in. And let's take a couple minutes for stretching. And you can also massage your head or your face, any place where there is tension. You can massage that area. You can also stand up if you feel comfortable and stretch a little bit. Okay. So we can see if there are any questions or sharing experience. And I may also have a little bit more to share, but it's good if we can hear from the group, if anyone has anything. Yes, so I have a question. Um, uh, who will go first? Let's go for, is that Green?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead, Green.
Yeah, so this meditation, you, I guess, if I understand correctly, have to try not to attain anything, not to um, not to try to reach something, but isn't isn't like, is it like trying to attain, not to want to attain something? I'm sorry if it doesn't make sense.
So do you like breathing? Or is breathing important to you?
Yes, it's important.
Okay, so meditation is just like breathing. It is already important to you. You are already doing it. Actually, it is deeper. It is more complete than things that are important to you or not important to you. So when we practice meditation, on one hand, we can say we are sowing seeds, sowing the seeds of being able to relax ourselves and being able to come back to the present moment. But even more so, it is just this, it is just experiencing. It is not separate from our normal everyday life. But from the practical point of view, when you look at your normal, ordinary, everyday life and the results of that, you may be in a position where you say, hey, I need to change what I'm doing. I need to change what I've been doing because you're practical. Now, at the core or continuously all the time, regardless of if you are aware of yourself or not, the breathing is taking place, right? Regardless of if you have insight or a deeper understanding about the world or Buddhism, whatever, breathing is taking place. Everything is taking place. So the meditation that we practice here is not about adding something extra, but it is about everything already. And we call it meditation, or we call it Buddhism, or we gather in the Discord, or we gather in the convenient place for us um, naturally. It just happens. So we had a meeting, maybe it was yesterday, where one of our members from India, Abhi, brought up this point that it's cause and effect. It's happening. There's no you to blame, or there's no you to take credit for anything. It's happening. And we point to this body, or we prioritize this body because cause and effect. And just this is the body that happens to be here now for each one of us. And when we are in maybe a more responsible social role, maybe we're a parent or we're a caretaker for children, then that discrimination between this body and another body dissolves innately, inherently, without effort. So rather than getting into this trap, which a lot of people have brought up before, well, if there's karma, if there's rebirth or things like that, who is there to be reborn? Take a bite of an orange and eat the orange peel too. Okay?
Yes, thank you.
All right, that took me a while to reach that button. It's really hard not to move this little Zen Master that I have on my lap. But just a quick note from about 2 years ago, there was a time that we were meditating in this Discord, and you said the difficulty of meditation is the meditation itself. And sometimes I use that as a mantra, and I've also extended it into more things than just meditation. There's been so many difficult times and difficult experiences that I'm sure we all have. And having something to hold on to with that has been very helpful. That's all. Thank you.
What did Shrek say, right? Shrek said, I'm like an onion, or something like that. And what it means is there's many, 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 many layers. And we can't disregard those layers. We can't disregard cause and effect. Is everything already without effort, without thinking, without management, without solving, without good or bad? Already. But if we disregard cause and effect, if we don't begin to believe in cause and effect, which is not concerned with what we want or, the nice idea of us being in control, right? Then we will disregard our true nature. So these practices in Buddhism and following precepts and listening to Dharma talks and getting more involved in doing good deeds, it's not a matter of being confused by anything. It's a matter of using everything while being free from everything and characterizing your way to be free from everything rather than stuck and locked into preferences and opinions and perspectives and all of this rigmarole that we just we cycle and cycle and cycle unnecessarily. And when we try to practice meditation and there's difficulty or what have you, like Kit said, that difficulty is the meditation. So you're not failing, you're freeing. And at the beginning, like a child, unless we have the good conditions, we cannot develop much. But when we do develop much, when we do concern ourselves with the path and the way and the freeing, it becomes natural, it becomes innate. And then we don't have to call ourselves a Buddhist, we don't need to be a monk, we don't need to join meditation groups, but we like to. Because blessings come about, peace comes about, healing comes about, and that's something that as a meditator or someone who's on this path is concerned with. So we like to do it, and that's where it comes into this place where we find the enjoyment, we find the freedom, the natural peace that goes along with being peace. the effort is just to show you your own face. It's already your own face. You know, the effort to relax is just showing you the nature of the relaxing of your body that is already there, that allows it to function. And it is limitless, that joy, that peace, that expansiveness, that forgiveness, that healing, that mindfulness. It is limitless and complete. It can be engaged anywhere, with anyone, in any situation, immediately, precisely immediately. That is the completeness of it. So the most wonderful and non-dualistic and enlightening and special, etc., etc., Dhamma teachings and people and beings, these great meditation masters who've been practicing for 10, 20, 30, 40 years continuously, right? It's all just showing you your own face. It's a mirror. But if we don't practice to, wipe our eyes as we wake up, then they'll be full of gunk, and it won't matter how clear the mirror is. It won't matter. It can be a mountain of a mirror. We won't see ourselves in it. But it's already yourself. It's already your true nature. Right? It's like this body, this life that's so important to us, this mental life, this physical life, this body and mind, have a sense of solidity, right? That all these cells are coming together. The brain is working in a certain way so that we have this congruent experience, kind of consistent, seemingly consistent self-experience. But what is the power of that? Where does that power come from? It comes from impermanence. If the cell does not know how to die, it becomes cancer, something like that. So our vision is powered by impermanence. Our hearing is powered by impermanence. This body is a body of ever new impermanent nature. The mountains are walking. So the meditation in this sense is a kind of unabated breath, unrestricted living, where it's so unrestricted, it's so unbounded that we don't need to do anything mentally or physically. Now, there are tools that we can use to deal with cases, right? So the mind becomes scattered, we start focusing on thinking, we get locked into something, but we really want to, calm down and develop our concentration, etc. Well, that's a case. And we have a tool or a teaching for that. We come back to the breathing. But there's also a caseless case. There's a treasureless treasure. And there's no effort that, a selfless self, there's no effort that we need to or even could put in to reveal that. Just in the same way that there's no effort needed to reveal the clear sky, because the clear sky is the sky's nature. You just aren't high enough allegorically to see that or experience that. But it's still its nature. So in this way of meditation, we use the nature power rather than our self power. And to better use the original power or our nature power, we learn to use the power of the others, not just the power of ourselves. And that's being in community. And the Sangha is being in the well-minded community, using the power of the well-minded community. Community that is concerned with generosity. It's important. Concerned with being virtuous, being good, and doing good deeds. Concerned with mindfulness. Concerned with letting go is maybe a burnt out word, but forgiving, freeing. It's not just something that we, do every now and again, or that seems to be useful in society, but we're concerned with it. And also concerned with these insights, right? And that's Sangha. And then when we go from using our self-power to using the Sangha power, then we get higher up and we start to see, oh wow, look at this big storm. But we're looking down at it. Not looking up at it, wondering where the clear blue sky is. Okay. So important comment coming in from Sherry Music. Sherry says on YouTube, I am living in an abusive household and am becoming more fearful each day. How can I make my mind stable enough to find the strength to gain economic independence? Know how to leave. It really is our human condition where women and people, young people, older people, are maybe especially middle-aged people that are in dire straits with their lives, with their activities, with what they consume, with where they work, and they don't know how to leave. And when you don't know how to leave, it also means that you don't know how to reach out for resources that are concerned with leaving. We have to know how to leave. Sometimes there's no, that's it. And that is detachment. And if we don't know how to leave, if we can't understand that it is the nature of humans to leave, it is our ancestry, it is our biological ancestry to leave, to know how to leave. We were hunter-gatherers for such a long time. Then we are missing out on our essential power, the power of our memory, our biological evolutionary memory, to know how to leave. And there's always reasoning to not leave. There's always justification to stay with the way that things have been up to now and what we're used to, even when what we're used to is dangerous and horrible even. So I would say, also this idea of economic independence is a kind of, a carrot that's hung in front of the donkey to get it to walk and to move. Of course, I understand that it's practical too, but I would say the question, how can you make your mind stable enough to leave? And I'm happy to help you as much as I can, but I would say especially to reach out to women's shelters and social workers in your area, because there are a lot of people who have known about these situations for a long time, and they've built institutions and they've built communities to help people leave abusive households. And a lot of children, they just had to be homeless, and there wasn't necessarily a support structure for them, and then getting wrapped up in the foster care system. We all know how horrible that's been for many children. So try to leave as soon as you can, and try to reach out to the local organizations in your area, even organizations concerned with addiction or homelessness or what have you, because the representatives of those places will likely know where to direct you. And if you are not in a stable enough state of mind to search for those resources, or you don't have those capacities, send me an email and I will find them for you, and I will reach out to them for you. And I'm putting my email in the comments there. Okay, I wish you the best of luck, and I'm here for you, and our community, in the extent that it can be, is also here for you. All right. And you can reach out to me, and I'll reach out to our community, um, if that makes sense, if that will help. Okay. But if the monks, this goes back 2600 years ago to ancient India. And because monks are alms mendicants, meaning that we get our requisites, we get our basic needs from the community that we happen to be around. The original monks, they were wanderers. They wandered on foot. And some of them would follow rules where they would sleep under trees, and they would only sleep under a tree for 3 days. Because after 3 days, the mind, that attachment would start to develop to the environment, right? And I've experienced that, where once I stay somewhere for a few days, I can feel the mind kind of starting to attach to that environment, and then maybe old habit energies can come out, or blockages can come up. But in that situation, the monks, maybe they found a really nice tree to sit under. Maybe there was a wonderful, maybe a hot spring nearby. And they were living in a cave next to a hot spring, and it was just ideal. It was wonderful for their meditation, right? But when the monks went into the village to receive water, to receive food, etc., and they found that that food was poison, they found that that water was not clean, there's no level of mental fortitude or stability that can deal with that situation. We have to know how to leave. It's like being in a boxing ring with someone who's much stronger than us and much more skilled than we are in boxing or in that martial art. There's only one option. You have to know how to leave. And it may take some steps, and it may take some time. But that is the most important step that you can take. Sonia, would you like to say something?
Yes, thank you. Can I say something to the person who just talked about being fear of violence?
I'm not sure if they're still here, but you can try to share.
Okay, if it's physical or psychological violence that could disagree, being dangerous, never tell that you're leaving. Do it in silence. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sonia. That's very good insight. And we have one of the Buddhist teachings is that to do good deeds in secret, to cultivate hidden virtue. So that, I think that goes in line with that as well. Do the right thing secretly. Do it as quietly as you can. And Evra shared that, Sherry, I have been in a similar situation before. Trust and believe you are capable of leaving safely. Once I believed I could, I was able to take the right action. Yeah, that's another wonderful insight. Believe that you can do it. Trust and believe in yourself. Okay, go ahead, Ghost.
I wanted to share an experience. Uh, so while I was meditating, I had I had all these emotions, and it was just incapacitating, and I couldn't meditate further. So I just had to stop meditating, but I didn't want to leave that.
What does it mean that you had to stop meditating?
I had a lot of emotions. Mm,
So
uh,
what is the action you took of stopping meditating? What were you doing meditating, and then what did you stop to no longer be meditating?
I had to distract myself.
So this is a part of the process. And eventually we will see that distracting ourselves is not separate from meditation. That we can bring our meditation, or we can bring our mindfulness of breathing in whatever it is that we're doing. And actually we want to watch out for that mindset that's like, I need to trap myself in this situation. I need to trap myself in focusing on my breath, or whatever we feel that meditating is. And actually, meditation is inclusive of everything. Mindfulness is inclusive of everything. So you did a good job by not leaving fully. You just left halfway, and that's great. That means you're participating in the process. But try to have your way of meditation to be more inclusive of whatever it is you're doing, right? And then when you're in a space like this, that even though you may go and do something else, you still bring that energy of presence to it. You are present with what you're doing, whatever that is. If we try to, because we have many emotions and afflicted states in us, right? So if we try to force ourselves into this box of meditation too much, right, then we will injure ourselves or upset ourselves. But we can still be in the box of mindfulness, the box of presence, and especially the box of reverence. So, like, this is a precious space, this is a sacred space, this is a quote unquote meditative space, right? And so, even though I can't focus as much as I would like to, still bringing that quality of awareness of your breathing, or just being fully with what you're doing, not letting the mind go in overdrive, but just being with what you're doing fully. Okay? And if we want to really approach this path and have some success and have some development, right? We're not just going to be able to meditate our way through it. And that's not what I'm teaching here. That's not what I'm encouraging here. There's a system, there's a path. Okay? Meditation is not for everyone. Not everybody can meditate. It doesn't mean they can't be a part of the Sangha. Well-minded beings on the path, or people on the path. So prioritize being good. Prioritize being a good person. And whatever that means for you right now, that's enough. It doesn't need to be a holy man. It doesn't need to be a savior of the world or the ideal good or anything like that. That's not it. Whatever it means for you already right now to just be a good you, do that and remember that and prioritize that. Okay? Is it clear? That's your assignment, Ghost. That's the homework. And it's a joy when we can approach ourselves like that, when we can use our mind like that, like, hey, I'm going to be good. I want to be good. And we can understand it. So we just need to take on that venture of being good in the way that we can be good, not in this holy ideal, be a monk, follow 227 precepts, be a meditator, do the study, pass the test, get the job, get the, the family, all that. Throw that away for a while. Don't worry about that for a while. Just be good, the you good, the natural good, and things will open up very quickly. Is it understood, Ghost?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you just apply it. You just remember, that's it. Be good and be helpful. I'm glad that you're here. Okay, anyone else like to share about, I think, Anthony, can you use your mic? Does your microphone work? Or do you want me to read it? I think I saw you left a message somewhere. Okay, so Anthony, I see this right here. Anthony says, hey Bhante, I am not sure if this is the correct channel to ask questions during the calls, but at the Tabarwa Center, do they ever grow their own food as well as accepting alms? Yes. It depends on the center and it depends on the people who are there, but this kind of work is really right along with the Tabarwa mission, growing food and also collecting alms, Because a lot of, or let's say most of the alms that are collected in the Tabarwa organization certainly are in Myanmar, in Burma. And most of those alms, most of those donations are immediately redistributed to the community. Hundreds and hundreds of people who eat from the food that the monks collect daily. And that's supplemented by rice donations to the center. And also, sometimes the donors will kind of arrange for the meal for the day. So they'll give a certain amount, a sum of money, and then that will be enough to cover the meal donations for the center, for the community. So that's right in line with the Tabarwa mission. And Lunas X on YouTube says, I hope you found heat source yesterday and good food. I did pick up a small heater and it is warming the room. I think I may put plastic on the windows, so I'm a little bit warmer now. And I had a really great call with the director of Tabarwa in Italy, Donnie, and things are moving ahead quite lovely, quite in a good way. And it's not for sure yet, because we still have to pay the final payment to have ownership of this property in the south. But once full ownership is there, it seems like there's a government program to, like, I guess, match funds for renovation works on properties that are concerned with the public. So Donnie told me today that something like 110% they will match the cost for the renovations, and that we may very well fit into that government program. So that would be great. And yeah, me and Donnie will soon have a meeting with Seattle, online meeting, and we'll talk more about this center and how we move forward with it. So all of that's going really well. Yeah. And we went alms round today in, I think maybe the place is called Chitanova, and we go to the farmers market and kind of walk back and forth about 2 times in the next to the stalls of the farmers, the people who sell vegetables and things. And we received maybe €2 or something like that. And we also received some vegetables, and some tomatoes, and some leafy greens. I think like broccoli, leafy greens. And then we stopped by the supermarket here, and I picked up some items, some mushrooms, and different little things, some bread, and to supplement our meals. So everything's going very well here. My teacher, Sayadaw Otamasara, some of his directives or his guidance can seem very extreme. So I remember one time he was teaching, and he said, don't sleep intentionally. And it's this teaching about there is already this sense of dissatisfaction. We feel difficulty. It doesn't matter if you win $1 million or you have a delicious meal and wine and everything's going fine. There's difficulty there. There's a sourness, there's a bitterness to this body and mind, right? And so we can either try to like dwell or get stuck in that sourness and depressed, anxious, or miserable thinking about our lives, right? Or we try to we find ways to avoid it, right? We try to sleep as much as we can. We try to live our lives in a way where we don't feel that, or we're not conscious of it, even though it's there, right? But the other approach is that we concern ourselves with doing good deeds limitlessly. We concern ourselves with making blessings limitlessly. No stop. There's already difficulty, and of course there will be pleasure. Things will go well. We will have positive experiences. But it's what we're prioritizing and how deeply and wholeheartedly we are prioritizing that. Because in this sense enjoyment, or trying to avoid these feelings we have, or ruminating on them, right? Yeah, there's pleasure, and yeah, there's pain, but also there's just so much wasted energy. Whereas if we can prioritize just this limitless approach, this deep and this broad approach, and then find conditions that support that. Yeah, there's difficulty. Yeah, we get stuck. Yeah, we feel good. Of course, when you live like that, you have good experiences. But now we're always cultivating blessings. We're not confused. We're not weighed down. We're not anchored by the unsatisfactoriness. We don't get pulled down because that anchor, that heavy weight that we're dragging around with ourselves, we're using it. We're using it to help people. We're using it to do good deeds. We're using it to cultivate. We're using it to remember, so it becomes a friend. It becomes an ally, right? It becomes the mud that we know is so precious that lotus flower blooms out of. And it'll take time, for us to develop and get to stronger points, where maybe we will never be where we want to be, but if we go in the right direction step by step and we're informed by the right guidance and the right teachings, the right encouragements, there's only one way we will go, and that's the way towards success and doing the right thing and having the right thoughts, developing the right concentration. It's not about Buddhism. It's not about being a monk. It's not about meditation. It's just this, and making use of just this to help, to bless, to forgive, to free, to end, instead of losing ourselves more than we need to in pleasure or pain and all the opinions and reactivity that goes along with that. Okay, let's leave it here for today. All right. And we'll finish with a dedication of the merits. And someone left a comment or asked about this recently. When you do good deeds, there's a good effect. I always tell the children, right? How do you feel when you do good? You feel good. How do you feel when you do bad? You feel bad. So how do you want to feel? So what are you going to do? And this merit is the understanding that the good deeds that we do, they have good effects, and those good effects don't just, evaporate into the air. They're accumulated. They're real. Merit is real. The good effects from good deeds are real. And when we come together like this, when we practice meditation, and it's not just, oh, I'm Bhante, I'm giving a Dhamma talk, but it's also that deep listening. It's that reverence for community. It's that silence that I'm a part of, that everyone is a part of. And if we didn't have that, it wouldn't matter what I say. We wouldn't be able to hear it. So when we come together like this, we cultivate a lot of merit, a lot of goodness, a lot of good effects in subtle ways. We won't even notice them, right? And so we take on this position to offer and share those merits, to offer and share those merits with all beings. And that's the dedication of merit. So the right hand is pretty good. The left hand is great, or you and me, or insincere and sincere, or we bring our heart together. That's what this means. And I invite everyone to bring our hearts together. And please do unmute your mic if you're here on Discord. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can repeat after me as well. And we'll share these merits with everyone, with all beings. May all the merits that we have done till now be dedicated and shared out towards all beings, whether they are big or small, good or bad, whether they have the greatest success or suffer the most difficult failure. May they receive and rejoice in our merits.
May our
May our merits be dedicated to all beings. In all directions. Throughout all space and time. May it be, may it be, may it truly be.
It truly be.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, dear community. See you again. Let's plan to meet tomorrow at the same time, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
And friends on YouTube, don't be shy to leave a like and leave a comment later on to help the stream and to help our community be spread out with more people. Okay? Thank you.